Welcome back, everybody, to the Below Average Show's MMA podcast, episode number 86. It's Monday. We're here starting off a brand new week, and we're bringing you guys another results and recap episode, this time for hashtag UFC Vegas 23, headlined by a statement victory by Mr. Marvin Vettori over Kevin Holland, who, shout out to him for stepping up on short notice, I should say. Your host, as always, I'm Noah B. That's Dominic Salee.
Yep.
It's his birthday.
It is. Not Monday you're hearing this, but the day we're recording this.
But, Dominic, how are you doing?
Another year older. Woke up this morning and my back's broken.
Yeah, welcome to the club, 23andMe.
Yeah. So, struggling, if I'm going to be honest with you. No, it's been a great day so far, and we're in the studio, going to talk about some fights. What better way to have a birthday, really, you know? I mean, talking about what you love. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
We got some pizza. Surprise pizza delivered.
Yeah,
your
mommy sent you some Domino's.
Yes.
Sent us some Domino's, I should say.
Much appreciated.
Because I decided to make sure that we were recording in the time frame that she would deliver it.
This is true.
So I could partake.
This is true.
Yeah. You know what? I'm enjoying your birthday just as much as you are.
There you go. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, man. Just same old business. Enjoying kind of a couple days off work, as is the rest of the country. Watching the fight Saturday. It was really nice. I'm actually growing to really like the early cards.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you.
Because it feels good to, you know, and a lot of this does have to be because I'm a younger guy, but even as I get older, I don't think this is going to change very much. You know, I like to spend my weekends with my friends, doing some fun stuff, so like Saturday night, you know, maybe I am at a bar, maybe I'm going out to eat somewhere, or just having some drinks at a house or something. You know, sometimes I don't want to have to focus on UFC while I'm doing that.
So you can get them done earlier in the day now.
So now when you have these cards that start at noon, 1, 2 p.m., it's really nice when you get done with that. Then it's like, okay, now I can go and have a few beers or go out to eat or whatever. It feels good to just have the rest of the day.
And internationally, it seems like it just benefits everyone.
Well, it definitely does. The United Kingdom is pretty much, by all measurements, the second biggest market for MMA.
And even like, you know, the Abu Dhabi AE region, because that's the Habib card was at 2 for that specific reason. So it just seems that these, like you said, noon, 1, 2, 3 o'clock start times benefit everyone.
I definitely think pay-per-views kind of deserve that later time.
Yeah.
I think that helps buy rates sometimes.
But man, fight nights...
But fight nights,
I'm fine with this.
I would be happy if they did all of them like this, you know. But,
Let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Late night fights, early afternoon fights, a good mixture. You know where to do. Leave a voice message, let us know.
Yeah, well said.
You know, early plug, why not?
Yeah. So before we kind of get into recapping the fights that we watched Saturday afternoon, it's time for the news.
The news.
Not a lot. You know, we did drop a bomb on Friday.
With like 12 fight announcements.
Yeah, so all we have here is one for the rest, and it's
came out of nowhere.
It's a downer.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's a downer and a half, ain't it? So promising UFC flyweight Jimmy
the Brick
Flick has announced his retirement from MMA.
Yeah, man.
Pretty much this isn't word for word, but his statement was essentially that his goal was to get to the UFC, but you know, when he was looking 10 years out, his goal, you know, I forget how he was kind of wording it. It was
family first.
He was saying, you know, my family is the ones that are there that care about me. My kids care about me. My wife cares about me. He's like, the UFC doesn't care about me. So he's like, in 10 years from now, he's like, I want to be more. He's like, I want to be all about them, not about the UFC.
Yeah.
So, you know, can't blame him. It appears his mind is just he wants to go accomplish some other goals he has and that are outside of MMA, and I wish him all the best. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, he had one of the best submissions all of 2020, the flying triangle.
Cody Durden.
Yeah, that was crazy. He was really one of the better prospects coming into that flyweight division that has been becoming so stacked recently. It sucks to see him go, but Best of...
Well, he was scheduled
What?
to scheduled to fight in May against
May 8th
Davison's brother.
Yeah, that's true.
Was it Francisco
Figueiredo, yeah.
And obviously with this retirement, that fight's
quit.
not going to happen now. But yeah, in that flyweight division, it's they're not exactly, it's not exactly a stacked division when you get to the back end. There's not, I shouldn't say it like that. There's not a ton of guys in that division.
Yeah.
So a guy like Jimmy Flake,
he was the breath of fresh air.
Yeah, who was really kind of coming into his own and making some big strides. There's no telling what his career could have went to.
Contender series guy, but
this year, next year, there's no telling what kind of heights he could have got to. But I'm sure he's just as aware of that as we are.
Yeah.
So all the best to him, right?
Shout out to Jimmy the Brick Flick.
Right. And that's it for the news. That's all of it. No real fight announcements or any, big news stories over the weekend.
Mm-hmm. We're all caught up.
It kind of happens. We get that bomb dropped on us after 9 days off.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 days later. We're recording again. So it can't expect too much all the time. But we do have some fights to recap for you guys.
This is true.
So we did end up with a 5-fight main card. And dare I say, I think it lived up.
It was a good card.
I think it was a good card overall. Before we get into the actual main card that we previewed, as always, now we do have a prelim notable for each of us.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go ahead and do mine first because this guy opened the entire card.
Crazy.
Feels like it's only right to give him that first spotlight. Impa Kazaganay.
Oh, man.
Some of you might have heard of this guy because of his...
For the wrong reasons.
Well, yeah, but first, if you're like us...
Yes, true.
Contender Series, he made a big splash on there.
Was undefeated.
Very nice, very just, the personality was
so
there.
well-spoken, respectful, and a killer in the cage.
But then some of you probably, whether you know him by name or not, you know him for being the guy on the wrong end of that knockout by Joaquin Buckley. The Jeff Hardy spinning kick to the face. So that was the last time we had seen him. It was a really tough loss to take. And that's going to be forever shown on highlight tapes. But for him to come back here against Sasha Palatnikov, who's a very interesting fellow in his own right.
Yeah.
This is a Caucasian man who was born in Hong Kong that speaks perfect English.
Yeah, a lot of intangibles.
Just a lot of questions, right? But Impa submits him with the rear naked choke 26 seconds into the second round. Just looked fantastic. This was his debut at 170. He dropped down in weight.
And looked good.
And he just looked like a completely different fighter physically. And he just looked more loose in the cage. And, it was a great performance and a big bounce back for him. And hopefully this run at 170 will go, I don't want to say better. His run at 185 was good. Hopefully he just doesn't have any more of those kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just any loss. That's something that's going to be forever kind of enshrined. So...
showed off his well-roundedness.
Yeah.
A lot of groundwork. Had the submission.
Yeah.
And I moved his camp to Sanford MMA. So we see that's becoming one of the more prominent camps in MMA these days. So a big move for Impa, and rightfully so, to be the prelim notable for you.
Great. Now, what was your prelim notable?
Now mine, I went back and forth because you made a good debate for Jargis Donho, the German heavyweight who dismantled Jorgen De Castro. First fight since 2016. However, I'm giving my prelim notable to Matisse Gamrot. Got the TKO a minute and 22 seconds into round number 2 against Scott Holtzman, a crafty vet that's been in there with guys such as Beneil Dariush and been into absolute wars. Gamrot, known as a very dominant wrestler, stood and banged with Scott Holtzman this whole time, rocked him in the second round, got the TKO finish. So it's good when you see these guys that are known for their wrestling and their grappling showing their expanded skill sets. Gets a knockout over a guy that's as tough as they come in Scott Holtzman. After really, Holtzman was doing well in that first round for the most part. Gamrot, I still think, won it. But either way, it was a tough test for him. And now I think he's 14-1. So he looked very impressive, and he'll be making his way up the rankings sooner than you'd have to think there. So big win for Gamrot over Scott Holtzman. That's my prelim notable.
Well said. There was a couple others you could have picked, or we could have picked, like Da Un Jung with that big win over William Knight. like you said, Jargis Dano, just
That
one
was
punch
folded him.
folded Jorgen De Castro. Even though you see at heavyweight those kind of one punch KOs, not like that.
They hit different, man.
Yeah. But it was definitely a lot of takeaways on this prelims. And
Yes, the undefeated Welshman, Jack Shore. Be on the
oh,
lookout
yeah,
for him.
right. Jack Shore as well.
So, yeah.
Now on to the main card. We open our card at welterweight. Daniel Rodriguez getting it done over Mike Perry via unanimous decision, 30-27 on 2 judges' scorecards, and then 30-26.
Put on a clinic.
One-sided, man.
A beatdown. Striking clinic.
Striking clinic, yeah. I mean, there's no other way to really word this. Rodriguez was probably... We both picked him to win.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the odds were or kind of what the consensus was on this fight, but you got to think Mike Perry being kind of a bigger name in MMA, not necessarily for all the right reasons, but
known to be in wars.
yeah, you kind of have to think that maybe Rodriguez was being a little overlooked in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially because he was coming off a loss. Someone put that
Yeah.
in quotations over Nicholas Dalby, and for him to come out here and just, I mean, Mike Perry had nothing.
Oh yeah,
I not to sound disrespectful, but it just looked like Mike Perry was completely lost in there.
Yep.
I don't know what his game plan was, but all we really saw from him was just getting punched in the face. I mean,
Right.
That was about it.
Yeah.
And you got to think that he's now below 500 in UFC, 7-8 now.
Right.
I don't really see where he goes from here. He's got one fight left on his
the
contract.
Yeah.
So obviously that's a sink or swim type fight. Even if he wins it, I'm not sure really where he goes from there.
He's in an interesting spot.
But Daniel Rodriguez, biggest win of his career.
Good for him too, man. This guy's 14-2, finishes so many of his fights. Should be 5-0 in the UFC, like Noah said.
Yeah.
Controversial decision in his last one. Nevertheless, still 4-1. Very good striking, good clinch work, good takedown defense. I mean, this guy's a legit threat here with this, that probably 20 to 25 range. Obviously, they don't have numbers next to their names, but he's slowly approaching the top 15 rankings. And with performances like this, it won't be long before he's there. What do you think? 1, maybe 2 more wins, depending on how he gets it done?
A lot of it depends on the opponents, too.
Yeah.
But I would say if he can get an opponent above Mike Perry, it's 1 more.
Yeah.
And with a performance like that, I really have high hopes for his kind of future in the division.
Right.
He looked big in there.
He's big.
Mike Perry's a big welterweight, at least.
And D-Rod was noticeably bigger.
Yeah,
Maybe not muscular-wise, because Perry's,
that's what I was about to say.
Guy.
Mike Perry's not big at welterweight, like tall, but he's just
thick.
Thick. And Rodriguez was able to kind of hold
long,
up stature-wise to him.
Tall, very strong.
Yeah, but I don't want, I wanted to give Rodriguez kind of his moment there, but really the bigger story for me is Mike Perry appears to today be a worse fighter than he was when he was first being introduced into the UFC.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he came into the UFC at 7-0, man. It's crazy.
And
he was looking like a killer.
And not even just that, because a lot of guys, you see these guys that come in undefeated from kind of the indie scene. They come in and they don't last.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Almeida, we just talked about. That's a guy who went like 20-0 on the regionals. Comes to the UFC, doesn't quite have the same level of success. But Mike Perry, even in the UFC, he was starching people. And we've seen him. I mean, he has a decision win over Paul Felder.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was one, even though it was a split decision, that was one I thought he clearly won.
Yeah.
He's had some really good moments. I mean, the Jake
fight with Mickey
Ellenberger.
Gall, even as recent.
Yeah, the Jake Ellenberger knockout.
Yeah, that was brutal. He's had these moments where you're like, okay, this guy could be a legit, prospect for this division. Then other moments where you're like, oh, what's wrong?
And I just can't get past that. I think he just doesn't have much of a support system around him. And
a lot of people are calling for a better camp.
I'm not talking like family. I know he's got his fiance and then
the baby now.
I'm not talking about that. I just mean like
camp. A full team.
A team of people that are really kind of working with
getting
him.
it all out of him. Yeah.
It's not you. Even though MMA is an individual sport, it really is
a team. Yeah.
That's became very clear. Like, at the end of the day, it's 1v1 in the cage.
Yeah.
but the work that goes into preparing for the fight is a team effort.
Right.
And if he doesn't have that kind of system around him, this is what we're going to see from him.
Yeah, it's very true. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like you said, one more fight on his contract. Win or lose, he's still in a pickle. And again, for D-Rod, man, be on the lookout for Rodriguez. Young guy, very good striking. I'm excited to see what comes next for him.
Agreed. Moving on to women's strawweight, Mackenzie Dern. Continuing her run here, gets the armbar finish over Nina Nunes.
Yeah.
4 minutes, 48 seconds in the very first round.
Doing what she does best.
You know, it's about time that if Mackenzie Dern gets a hold of a girl's arm, I think they just need to call the fight.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to get their arm snapped.
Oh, yeah. She about snapped that Nina's in half.
Yeah.
And she's so patient.
Yeah.
Looking for the opening. And then when she finds it and gets that lock in, it's over. You're done. Mm-hmm. She's so patient on the ground. She doesn't just quickly transition, grab your arm, pull you back, and then, have the possibility to lose her positioning. She's so methodical and fun to watch grapple. You really see how many levels above she is in the jiu-jitsu game. It's crazy.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you there. It's just been really impressive to kind of see the growth in Mackenzie over the last year or so. 2020, very close to being our female fighter of the year, if not for Chris Cyborg. And the growth she showed, not only in her kind of one of the biggest one being like the physical, like she just looked more in shape for
her body transformation
division.
Has been great. We're talking about someone that used to struggle weight cutting down to 115.
Remember when she fought, I believe it was Amanda Cooper?
Missed by 7 pounds?
7 pounds.
But now, man, she is lean. She's very muscular, very strong, doing like powerlifting. Her transformation, and this is all postpartum after a baby too, which is even more impressive. She's on an absolute tear. 4 in a row now, 3 of them via submission. And her striking is evolving. That was going to be
my other thing. That fight with Virna Jandiroba, not that Virna is much of a striker, but both ladies just kind of standing toe-to-toe in the middle of the octagon and just slugging it out. And not even in like a sloppy way. Like Mackenzie looked very competent.
Yeah.
Very comfortable. I'm not necessarily ready to say that she could strike with the best strikers of the division.
Yeah.
And that'll play into a little bit of matchmaking. But she's at least growing into being well-rounded enough to where I think she can hold her own anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's
good
very
enough.
dangerous. When you have an elite skill like she does in her jiu-jitsu.
All she needs is
everything else just be good.
Yeah. That's all you need.
You're talking championship level.
And if we're talking, she's 27, 28. She's just going to keep improving, not even in her physical prime.
Yeah.
Man. This is a potential future champion here. And a lot of people saw this coming from her to begin with when she first started in the UFC, but now this is a whole different ballgame we're talking with Dern.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. As for what's next for Mackenzie Dern, I think there's one obvious choice. That's got to be Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Okay, so they matched her up with Nina Nunes, formerly Nina Ansaroff, by the way, if anybody was confused. And Nina's a great striker. And Mackenzie held her off, pressed her up against the cage, and that was that. But Joanna is like the next level striker.
You know what I mean? The elite of the elite.
Like you look at the top, the champion and number 1 and number 2, those are the elite strikers. Weili, Rose, Joanna. And then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
So with Mackenzie getting a fight against Joanna, she's put into that next echelon of fighters.
Right.
So it's interesting, and like we were discussing off air, does that even interest Joanna? She seems so interested in just big fights, title fights. Does she take a fight like that?
There have been some whispers that maybe Joanna is nearing some sort of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
It could be possible. But if she's not, this is the fight.
This is the fight, yeah.
I think it's a big fight. I actually think it's the biggest fight outside of a Weili rematch or Rose 3.
Yeah.
Which there's no reason to have her and Rose fight at
because Rose won, yeah.
But I'm just saying that outside of those two, I think Mackenzie Dern is a bigger fight for her than Zhou Yang.
And if you're looking name value, Mackenzie now going to enter into that top 5. Top 6. She's going to be the biggest name outside of those top 3 women.
Completely agree.
And it helps that Carla Esparza and Joan and Jan are booked. That fight's happening
Carla
soon.
Esparza's already fought Joanna. That was how Joanna
Yep.
won the belt, which is kind of crazy to see how that's turned out. But there's no reason that McKenzie won't be the fight for her. If that's
Sorry, go ahead.
if Joanna wants to keep fighting.
If Joanna wants to keep fighting, that's
if she turns this kind of fight down, and there could be a multitude of reasons, but if this is like where she goes, now I'm good, she's probably pretty much done.
I'd headline a fight night with Dern and Joanna.
Yeah,
I think you easily could. I think Dern really is kind of the next big superstar in this division, and it's a test for both women in polar opposite areas. Because, like I said, Dern fought Nina Nunes, which is a big step up in striking, but now it's Joanna, a world champion Muay Thai fighter, 6 title defenses, one of the greatest women's fighters still in the world today. Can she face that level of striker and find success? And for Joanna, we've seen her have such good takedown defense. She hardly ever gets taken down. But Dern, again, is kind of a next-level grappler. So that would be just such an interesting fight. Give me 5 rounds of that all day in a fight night main event. I'm going with Joanna as well.
As for Nina Nunes, tough loss after a long layoff, but she's going to be right outside that top 5 now. I think that a reasonable matchup, you might disagree, Tisha Torres.
Yeah, I saw some people calling for that one. Tisha kind of having that career resurgence right now. I was going to do Karate Hottie. Michelle Watterson would be my pick, so I think both make sense.
Michelle Watterson, a popular pick for you in this.
I'm just ready to see her get back in there.
I like that it appears Michelle does have a lot of options. And
yeah, she's sitting at that sweet spot number 8, kind of like 2 fights away if she can win from a title, but still if she loses, she kind of always stays where she is.
Right.
And it'd be a good fight, a striking battle. That would be fun to watch. So I would go her and Michelle, but a tough fight with Tisha is a great fight as well, especially with Tisha again.
I was actually really close to putting her with number 7, Claudia Gadelha.
Yeah, I will say it would have been a rematch. Nina looked really good when she fought Claudia the first time, but again, Claudia's such a dog, and just that grappling style, she can cause issues for anyone on a good night. Yeah. She says just these inconsistent evenings and razor close decisions.
Yeah, she is a bit inconsistent.
Yeah,
but
it's odd.
It just, and I get it's a rematch, but it kind of just is where it's like where the cards are kind of falling right now that I could see that match being made.
Yeah.
But I would rather see her fight a fresh matchup in Michelle or Tisha.
I'll say one dark horse. I know we've been getting better just giving one apiece. Yeah. But one little dark horse just throw out there, Marina Rodriguez. Yeah. Another battle of strikers. Marina coming off that big win against Hebos. I know Nina, Nina's going to get pushed back. Mackenzie's going to come up. Marina's number 6. I don't know who's going to go where. I think that would be a fun striking battle. But first and foremost, her and Michelle, or as Noah said, her and Tisha. Those are our 2 options.
Nice. After that, big middleweight fight here. Julian Marquez.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
The Cuban Missile Crisis, man. Continuing kind of this little interesting character run.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
Give this guy a microphone, and he just takes off.
Look, I said in the preview that I was, I wasn't all in on the Cuban Missile Crisis, but he gets it done again over Sam Alvey. With it brutally, might I add.
Yeah.
It's ruled a technical submission, rear naked choke. 2 minutes, 7 seconds into the second round.
The official fight of the night.
Officially the fight of the night. Not quite what we're going to go with. But I really had a lot of fun with this fight. It was very one-sided.
Yeah.
As you pointed out, Marquez very much was landing the harder shots, was hurting Alvey a lot more. But Alvey did have his moments where he would rock Marquez.
He clipped him, yeah.
And again, this is going to lead into kind of, I don't want to be that guy, but it's always something, Marquez, and there is a spot for him in being in this kind of role where it's like a guy who's always in these dog fights.
Yeah.
But am I quite ready to buy into him as like, do I think his ceiling is like title contender? I'm not there yet.
He's good, he still finds himself in trouble.
Yeah. And the Maki Patolo fight was very much
getting
in Patolo's
dominated.
way. But there is something to be said about a guy who always finds a way to win.
And now, all 9 wins, via finish.
And he's very exciting
Yes.
with that kind of statistic. And when he gets on the mic after, he has fun with it.
Hey, Miley Cyrus call out first, then yesterday calling out the entire Kansas City Chiefs roster for a game of pickleball?
Yeah.
What?
Or badminton.
Or badminton. He essentially wants to be labeled the baddest man from Kansas City.
Oh,
So why not take on the Super Bowl champion Chiefs?
Yeah.
You know.
It's fun. And guess what? You got Travis Kelce responding to it, Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill.
All three of them. I think it's going to get done. We're going to see a pickleball tournament or badminton.
It's just wild to see that this guy who didn't even have the check mark before the Miley Cyrus kind of call out.
He's becoming like a household name.
Yeah, and
it's
now
crazy.
Really, he's 2-0 in 2021.
Yeah.
Kind of the early, I guess, first name to pop up on a radar for potentially
if he stays active.
Year,
that's true. 2 wins already, and it's
just throwing that out there. I mean, I don't want to jinx the guy, but, and it's still early in the year. But
you love when you can find success and a guy's good on the mic and just fun. It's similar to like a Kevin Holland of last year, you know?
Yeah. Now, for Marquez, do you see him getting a top 15 off of this?
Right at number 15, Sean Strickland. Banger, banger, banger. Sean Strickland on a career resurgence of his own right now on a 3-fight win streak. Last one coming against Brendan Allen in a fight I picked Brendan Allen to win. Allen, a stud in his own right. That'd be fun, man. That would just be such a great stylistic matchup, a really fun fight. And it does give Marquez the chance to tickle the top 15 rankings without throwing him into the pond, you know? Because Strickland just now earned his way there. I think that's a really good fight.
I'm actually going to go with number 13, Amari Akhmedov.
Interesting test.
So Akhmedov, very much he very much controls the pace of his fights by slowing him down. Mm-hmm. He's a grappler, but he will just kind of methodically just pace himself through the fight.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't do too much, goes to a lot of decisions. Marquez is not quite that same fighter.
Right.
Marquez will kind of get dirty in the fight like Akhmedov will, but he likes to do some exciting finishes.
Yeah.
Really will leave his chin open in order to land a harder punch kind of thing. I think that could lead to a very fun test for him.
Yeah.
You know, because Akhmedov being a veteran, but being someone who plays it safe a little bit, I could see there being a lot to learn off of a fight like that for Marquez.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see how he would kind of react in a fight like that. Because we saw the pressure that Pitolo put on, it's going to be multiplied with a guy like Akhmedov, you know? So that would be a really fun stylistic fight. Marquez, man, the Cuban Missile Crisis continues to strike. What a guy. What a guy.
And what a nickname.
Oh, yeah. He's going to keep finding himself on main cards, I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
pay-per-view or not, he's going to be on.
He got this placement on ABC.
Yeah, exactly. He's been on both ABC shows this year.
They gave him the fight of the night.
Yeah.
Even though we're not quite going there, it's still a fun fight. Probably going to be the most, viewer-friendly fight.
Yeah. Yeah,
probably for any viewer, this is going to be the fight that they're, the most fun with.
Yeah.
But, nothing to take away from him there.
Love this guy.
Co-main event.
Our fight of the night.
Arnold Allen gets one up on Sadiq Yusuff in the battle of these promising young featherweights. 29-28 on all three judges' scorecards. What were your thoughts here?
Completely agree with the scorecards.
Yep.
What a fight. What a chess match. I mean, we really hit this one spot on. We don't do that all the time. We hit and miss. You know, it's part of the game. But this is what we expected. Outside of the power from Arnold Allen really showed here. In the first round, drops Sadiq with a cross. In the second round, drops him with a high kick. And then in the third round, Yusuff bounces back. To his credit, honestly, Sadiq looked good all 3 rounds. If you take away those 2 big moments for Allen, it was really back and forth. Sadiq with the higher output, I believe, almost doubled Allen in strikes. But again, when you're getting knocked down in rounds 1 and rounds 2, it's going to be hard to seal the deal on the judges' scorecards. He couldn't get the stoppage in round 3. Arnold Allen, now on a 10-fight win streak, undefeated in the UFC at 8-0. And I'm telling you right now, he's welcoming Josh Emmett back.
Ooh,
That's the fight.
Fun.
That is the fight. A technical striker versus the power striker. My goodness gracious, a huge leap for Arnold in terms of name value as well. Love everything about that fight.
I don't know if I can even do any better there.
Wouldn't that just be such a...
Let me try.
Try.
Let me try. This is... I'm only going to throw out another option because...
We have to. There's two of us.
One.
Yeah.
Number 4, Yair Rodriguez.
Oh my God, you're throwing him up there.
Oh yeah.
I don't hate it though. Again, a guy that's undefeated in the UFC, man.
So, Arnold Allen...
17-1.
Yeah, I mean, he's being constantly kind of slept on, and I don't really see why outside the fact that he hasn't really finished many of his opponents in the UFC.
That's probably why.
But Yair Rodriguez...
That's fun.
Is the highlight reel.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's found himself in a...
Pickle.
Yeah, in a pickleball.
Always, it seems.
Yeah, he's just in a very compromised spot. Yeah, he's number 4 in the division, but he's probably going to be fighting backwards a little bit. The top of the heap is very...
They're kind of all booked now.
Kind of clogged
for the
up,
most part.
Outside of Zabit.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that Zabit and Yair are going to fight anytime soon.
Yeah.
So why not give Yair someone like Arnold Allen?
That makes sense.
And that's a huge test for Allen, but if he loses to a guy like Yair, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Because Arnold's so young, Yair's so young, it's just a very fun fight to make, I think. Two styles that, while, in the way that they're kind of physically, their stature is not too different, but they fight completely different. Yair goes for the style points.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen very much plays to...
A very methodical striker, but again, he did show the power last night, but didn't get overzealous.
No.
So he really just showed it all yesterday. He really did.
No, I was really impressed. That's why I'm willing to give him someone in the top 5.
And you hated to see either of those guys lose.
Yeah, I agree. But Josh Emmett is also a great pick.
Yeah, I'm just ready to see Emmett back.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now for Sadiq.
Okay, you got to be careful here. So, I'm just going to be honest. I want to avoid, in my matchmaking here, putting him up against another prospect. Because there's a fight I love. And Noah might be the one to say it, but I'm going to avoid it. A fight that was originally scheduled was Sadiq and Edson Barboza. Let's run it now. Let's try and get that fight booked now. Put him up against a crafty veteran. Again, the back half of this rankings here, 11 through 15, are all up-and-comers. Let's not just throw them all against each other. Let's keep them fresh.
My question for you is, since Burgos is fighting Barboza at the pay-per-view,
that's true.
Would you give him the winner or loser of that matchup?
Let's go loser of that matchup. I think it makes more sense with Sadiq coming off of a loss. I'm glad you pointed that out. They are fighting soon. That's a banger in itself.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, let's go loser of Burgos Barboza. I think that makes sense. Man, a Burgos and Sadiq fight would be nuts, but so would him and Barboza. So yeah, I'm going to go with that one. Both guys that are still, I would consider Burgos a relative veteran of the UFC.
At this point, he's been in some wars, man.
So yeah, we'll go loser of that one. I'm interested to see what you have to say here.
Yeah, I think you.
I know.
Number 13, Bryce Mitchell.
You bastard! I love that fight so much.
You're right. It is very much like just forcing these prospects to just eat each other before they get to the top. To me, it's all about kind of. When you're doing these matchmaking, it's like, I would like to avoid that. But in this moment, I'm just thinking of where are guys at in the rankings, kind of who has a matchup, who doesn't.
Right.
Barboza would be the tailor-made matchup for me right now.
Yeah, but he's booked. Yeah.
Now, he's fighting in a couple weeks with Burgos, so that'll open up in time for a potential matchup with him and Sadiq. But right now, Bryce Mitchell doesn't have a fight. Sadiq, I think, could get back in there relatively soon.
Yeah, I mean, got rocked, but again, outside of that, didn't take too much damage.
No, I mean, he seemed fine at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Give me, early fall time frame.
Yeah.
And, this is going to be completely different to what Sadiq just saw in Arnold Allen.
Yeah.
Bryce Mitchell, while he is getting better on the feet, that's not where he likes to take the fight.
That boy's nasty on the ground.
Yeah. And for Sadiq, he's very well-rounded, but still growing in really all aspects.
Yeah, man. Still so young.
His strengths definitely lie on the feet, but even then, he's still improving on those.
Yeah, strong in the clinch as well. That would be a fun fight. Very fun fight.
And that was our fight of the night pick. I know
Yes.
we already said that, but I mean, what a fight, man! Just
It was really what we thought. And again, Arnold Allen just showed more than I anticipated. He looked good.
Yeah.
It was good for him to get his name out there on ABC Network, a co-main event slot. He needed something big like that. Good for him.
and our main event of the evening,
My oh my.
Marvin Vettori gets it done over Kevin Holland, 50-44, unanimous decision on all three judges' scorecards. You know, Marvin did what he had to do to get it done.
Yep.
And for Holland, this is exposing there
There's a weakness.
a
blueprint.
Book. There's a blueprint of how to beat him.
Yeah.
At 185 anyway.
True.
But to be fair, this fight, you know, how do I say this? It wasn't great. It wasn't a great fight.
It was really take Brunson and Holland and just copy and paste.
Yeah, it was.
Vettori was a little more active.
So I told you, Dom, when I showed up today that I was disappointed in this fight, but I don't know what I
expected.
What I should have expected. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was more a fault of my expectations.
Yeah.
I wanted to believe that this Holland mental switch
Yeah.
could potentially kind of solve a lot of the problems we saw in that Brunson fight.
But there's just clear holes.
Realistically,
There's
it's
holes.
just there's holes in his game,
Yeah.
and you can't patch those up.
Not in 3 weeks. Yeah.
And Vettori is a bigger guy than Brunson,
Yeah.
so those weaknesses are probably more magnified
Yeah.
against a fighter like Vettori. I mean, what do you have to kind of say about this fight?
Again, kind of take Brunson, Holland, copy and paste 3 weeks later, and here you go. Vettori, I think, was a lot more active on the ground than
Yeah.
Brunson was from the top, but overall, and again, even on the feet, Holland clipped Vettori just like he did Brunson. So Holland's, advantages are clearly in the striking realm. He can hurt people. He's long, rangy, but has power to stun you. But the takedown defense, I mean, he got taken down, I think, 12 times. Or it
Was
might
it
have
really
even
that
been
many?
more than that. I know in the two fights combined, he had been taken down 17 times out of 28 attempts or something like
Okay.
that. I don't know. Some crazy stat. Vettori set the middleweight record for takedowns in a fight yesterday. I know that much. So it was 11 or 12.
Pretty good.
Something crazy. So Vettori did what he had to do to win. Holland, go back to the drawing board here. Let's discuss what's next for Holland first. How about that? 170
okay,
pounds.
Okay, yeah. Going to 170.
And you said this 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm sticking with that. I think going to 170 makes a lot of sense for him at this point. I was open to kind of seeing him continue at 185 coming off his last loss, but to see two in a row where it was very much copy-paste, and I get it, he stepped in short notice, but, I'm going to stick with what I said 3 weeks ago. Drop down to welterweight, fight Neil Magny.
And take an extended layoff.
Yeah.
Too. Let's try and patch some holes, take some time away. He's literally now fought 7 times in just over 365 days. Or
Now-
not even, because he didn't
Yeah.
start his win streak till May of last year. So
That's a good way to put
crazy.
it. Now, let's be honest, he probably won't.
But probably true.
Uh,
For him, a layoff, just give him 8 weeks. Just give him 8 weeks. 8
yeah.
weeks. Is
Yeah,
all.
no, that's what
I.
That's fine.
Him and Magny's fun.
I'm Magny.
Well,
again.
and of course he's matched up with Jeff Neal.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
I get your sentiment.
Yeah,
He was free 3 weeks ago when you predicted
I
that
know.
fight.
Now I feel like I kind of need the. I don't know. That's.
I just think it's good to just say 170, man. I mean,
it's gonna kill me to say. I feel like the only other matchup I can think of for him right now.
I mean, what if he fights Robbie?
I was about to say that, but I was gonna say that one will hurt me a little bit because
You don't want to put him up against Sean Brady. Grappler again,
Yeah.
man. Brady's a killer.
really a lot of people at welterweight are booked.
It would be kind of a banger. Him and Li Jingliang.
I thought you were gonna say Vicente Luque. But...
Oh no, I'm not throwing him up there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he has options. I don't know.
He's such a big name.
The top 15 at welterweight, man, they're all booked.
Yeah, it is. Finally.
Maybe he does fight someone outside the top 15. I mean, if he wants to stay active,
Yeah.
or if he waits and takes that layoff like you and so many others kind of want him to do, a lot of these matchups open up.
I got one. I got it.
Okay.
Take it, extended layoff. Get your body ready for 170. Come back. You ready?
Okay.
Kevin Holland, Daniel Rodriguez.
Oh, all right. I like it.
Big enough name.
Yeah.
Why not? Do that. Don't headline it or anything. Give him 3 rounds. But I like that. Two strikers.
That's a good one.
But a good enough name to get your feet wet at welterweight.
I was even going to throw out, like, Nico Price.
Yeah. A lot of people have been calling for that fight. So something like that. Where, no, they don't have a ranking, but they're a prominent enough name to where you beat them, you're probably going to get a ranking next. I mean, let's be honest. So,
let's
do that.
I definitely...
There we go.
And that's really all I can say for Holland. It's he has a lot of options, but I think it's most important that he probably goes down in weight and takes a layoff.
Yeah.
For Marvin, let me ask you this question before we kind of say who's next for him. Does a performance like this, does it really... Actually, I'm going to change my question.
Okay.
Based off what we saw, and this is not a fair question, but I'm just going to ask it for fun.
Yeah.
After what you saw Saturday, how do you feel a fight with Darren Till would have went? Because I feel like Darren Till would have gave him so much trouble.
Man, that's a great question.
Darren Till, a very
Till
tough
and Holland
guy
are
to
so
take
much
down.
different. I mean, they're both strikers, but Till is like as methodical and clinical striker as you can think
Very
of.
tough guy to take down.
And he's a southpaw, so it would have been a different stance. He does have good takedown defense. I don't even know if I can answer that question, you asshole.
I know
that's such a hard question.
It's not a fair question to ask.
And then it's just making me wonder, wow, we were going to break this fight down originally. What was I even going to go with? That would have been such an intriguing fight.
I really think, for me, even though Marvin Vettori won this fight and dominated the majority of it,
Till's a different beast.
It's kind of like, he wants Adesanya next.
No, not yet.
I'm sorry, but I get it. He's the closest on the scorecards to ever beat Adesanya outside of Jan Blachowicz.
But the win over Holland doesn't get you a title fight, I'm going to give the boring option.
Okay.
I'll let you give... Actually, hold on. I'll reiterate back to you. What do you think, then, if he would have fought Till? Just get your kind of thoughts. As well.
I think Till would have gave him a lot of trouble.
A lot of problems?
Even with Holland stepping in on... and I even said I thought Marvin Vettori was kind of good everywhere.
But not great at one aspect.
Yeah. But I think after Saturday, I kind of found out that maybe he's not very... he's not bad on the feet, don't get me wrong.
He's definitely...
But I think he is a lot better grappling.
Yeah. Hence the submission finishes compared to...
And that really just showed more Saturday. I really think Darren Till might have gave him a lot of trouble.
Just because of the takedown defense.
The takedown defense, and I just don't... In the exchanges Marvin had with Holland was winning enough of them to where I was like, man, if that was Darren Till, who was coming in with a full camp and everything, I'm like, I think that this could have been a very one-sided fight for Till.
See, and Vettori looked good on the feet against Hermanson, but Hermanson's not a Till striker, either, you know? Honestly, Hermanson's kind of another guy that's just good everywhere. Yeah. He's just well-rounded. So, man, maybe we'll see that fight down the road. Hopefully. Hopefully Till recovers relatively
So, go ahead and give your pick.
I'm going to give the boring, quote-unquote, pick. The obvious choice, maybe. You know what? No, I'm not doing it. Because I want to give Brunson what he wants. And Brunson wants Costa. So damn it, give him the Killer Gorilla. I just flopped it all. I just completely changed my opinion. Give him the Killer Gorilla, Jared Cannonier, number 3. If he wins that, he's on a 6-fight win streak, and then you can say he's ready for the title. I was going to say Brunson, but I want Brunson to fight Costa because that's what Brunson wants and what he's earned. So I'm going to go Vettori, Cannonier. Sorry, I just completely flipped the switch.
What's funny is I was going to go Costa, but then I kind of was like, you know what? Jared Cannonier would be fun. We haven't seen him since...
the Whitaker loss.
Yeah.
In a fight that still, he did lose, but he scared Whitaker.
Dark horse here.
Yeah.
Darren Till.
True, depending on the layoff.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean...
True.
Because now Marvin just fought for 5 rounds, so he's probably not going to be fighting anytime soon. And... for Adesanya seems very interested in the idea of fighting Darren Till as long as Darren can get a couple wins. Yeah. So if Marvin beats Darren, that almost, I think, would actually kind of give him a better argument to fight Adesanya than beating Jared Cannonier or beating Derek Brunson or even Paulo Costa. Like,
yeah.
ranking-wise, I get it. You might want him to get, Darren Till number 5. You might want him to get a little bit higher, but that's what I'm going to say. I'll say Darren Till.
All right.
The original matchup just going to happen a little bit later, and the winner of that, by that time, hopefully we'll have at least Adesanya fighting somebody in this top 5.
Yeah.
The winner of that could potentially be next.
I like it. There we go.
But that is it for our results and recap for hashtag UFC Vegas 23.
It's fun when you got a bunch of ranked fighters. You can matchmake so much more,
Yeah, true. As for the rest of this week, Wednesday.
Coming at you.
This one's a little bit extra special.
Noah going big here on the special episode ideas.
Hey, I just do what I do. I do my part, man. It's 50-50, But this Wednesday, since the Reebok era has just come to a close and we open with the Venom era, I thought it'd be fun to be topical and also just talk about kind of the time period that we've really been watching closest. Our top moments of the Reebok era, ranging from UFC 189, where they debuted, to UFC 260.
Yep.
What were the best fights, the best moments, the best fighters, like anything.
Yeah.
It's really
we're gonna compile
best cards.
lists.
It's just what's gonna best define this era for us.
Yeah.
So we're each gonna give a top 5 list, and then we'll just reconvene on here.
Yeah.
And we'll just go over it. Maybe some of our options will be the same. I'd like to think
we might have a lot different.
I would like to think it'd be a lot different, but we will see. Friday, we're coming at you with another preview.
And another middleweight headliner.
This time going to be on ESPN, too, so still a big network
true.
Big network show.
A fight 2 years in the making.
Yeah, it is. Robert Whittaker, Kelvin Gastelum. Not the matchup that was originally booked.
But
it might be
like it a little better.
It might be a closer fight. Gastelum really coming in with something to prove here. Whittaker kind of also coming in with something to prove.
This would be 3 straight.
Whittaker looking to make a statement to get Adesanya to fight him again.
Yeah.
While Gastelum kind of has that advantage of, like, he did look good against Adesanya, but he did just win 1 fight after 3 losses in a row. So, he's coming in here looking to just keep staying on track.
Exactly. And still so young. Both these guys are still younger than 30. And you consider all they've accomplished, it's pretty mind-boggling.
It is crazy. But that'll be coming to you on Friday. But until then, Dominic, tell the good people where they can find you on social media.
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at DSlee14. More importantly, find the podcast on Twitter, on Instagram at BAJ_MMA podcast. On Twitter, we're right under 150 followers, bumping up that community over there.
Bump it.
On Instagram, right at 59. We're so close
Bump
to 60. Bump them numbers up. We're always bringing content as
those
much as we
are rookie
can.
numbers.
Rookie
Get those
numbers.
up.
Bump them up. So that's where you can find us,
Cool. As for me, if you go to my bio on Twitter or Instagram, at ntbaker_, you'll be taken to our link tree, which gives you the links to all the platforms that the podcast is on, along with the social media platforms. That includes the Twitter, the Instagram, the YouTube channel, and Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcast. It's all on there, baby. And there's a couple links for the anchor page. First, leaving a voice message. If you have a thought about an upcoming fight, a news story, if you just want to say hi or tell us we're a piece of shit, you got 60 seconds to do it. And there's another link if you want to become a supporter of the podcast. That just provides us with a few dollars a month. All that money goes back into improving the quality of the podcast, whether it be audio equipment or down the line doing a video podcast. So again, you can find all of that if you go to my bio on Twitter or Instagram at ntbaker_. With that, we're out. We'll see y'all on Wednesday.